This project is inspired by Zach Logan's ceramic work entitled Cut Flowers After Mary Delany, which was inspired by the work of Mary Delany, who in the 1700s, over 200 years ago, made remarkable and botanically accurate cut paper collages of flowers. There's a neat play on words in the title of Zach Logan's work because his ceramic flowers look like flowers cut from a garden, and Mary Delany made her flowers by cutting paper, so they too are cut flowers. I've made this example using pressed flowers and leaves to illustrate some of the design choices Zach Logan uses in his work. Zach's flowers are for the most part realistic, but he sometimes takes artistic license to use the leaves from one plant with the flowers from another. For example, these little curlicues are from sweet peas, and these little petals are from a flower called Sweet William. This flower is a pansy, and these leaves are from a carrot. Zach arranges his ceramic flowers together on a white background so that they're separate from each other, and each specimen is clearly visible. Mary Delany gave each of her cut paper flowers its own space by gluing only one kind of flower onto its own black background. I made this example of an iris by cutting the shapes of leaves and petals from white paper, applying color with marker, then shaping them and gluing them to the background so the end result looks a little three-dimensional. I'll show you a few simple tips to make your paper flower look a little three-dimensional. Looking at the iris from the side, you can see that the leaves and petals are not glued flat to the background. They're all glued in only one or two spots in ways that make them stick out from the background. For example, this leaf is glued only at the very bottom and close to the top. And the leaf is not pulled tight between the spots where it's glued, allowing most of the leaf, including the tip, to lift off the paper. And this leaf is glued only in one spot at the very bottom. Overlapping components is another way to enhance three-dimensionality. The iris is made with paper that's just slightly heavier than printer paper. Completely covering only one side of a piece of paper with marker will make the paper curl. Covering both sides of a piece of paper with marker will prevent the paper from curling. Look for ways to use the curled leaves and petals to your advantage. For example, I could glue this leaf here at the bottom and unfurl the leaf and look for a place closer to the top where I could glue it again. And that curl would make the tip of the leaf lift off the paper. For this flower, I cut petals like this. They're not all identical, but they're roughly the same length and the same shape, and they all have a tab. When I applied marker, they curled, and the curl is perfect for this flower because I can apply glue to the back of the tab and glue them overlapping the tabs in the center, and the flower looks three-dimensional. You can also roll leaves and petals around something like a pen or a pencil to create some three-dimensionality. I'll use these plain white components of an iris to demonstrate how to shape and glue the components of a flower so that they end up looking a little bit three-dimensional. Starting with the stem, I've just put a little bit of glue at the very bottom of the stem, and I'm not stretching it out tight to glue it down. I'm letting it be a little bit loose between the spots where it's glued, and then I'm gluing it again closer to the top. By doing that, the stem sticks out a little bit from the surface of the paper. I'll shape the petals of the iris a little bit by rolling them around a pen. I'm not worried about symmetry or smoothness because flowers do tend to be a little bit unpredictably shaped. I'm applying a tiny bit of glue just at the top of that petal, and I will attach it here. By applying just a tiny bit of glue, the remainder of the petal stays in such a way that it can lift off the paper, and it allows me to slip things in underneath at the sides and achieve some overlapping. I will do the top petal now, and again I'm going to do some shaping by rolling it around a pen. And again I'll apply just a tiny bit of glue, the center bottom, and I'll attach that petal about there. And now I'll attach one of the lower side petals. Again, using just a little bit of glue. And I might just see if I can slip that under the edge of the petal that's already there. And I'll attach this side petal for the other side as well. With just a spot of glue at the top. And one of the top side petals. And that one could lift off the paper a little more, so I'm just going to shape it a little bit in situ. And this one, I believe I'll shape a little more before I put it on the paper. So there's the flower. And now I'll start adding leaves. And I think the first leaf I'll just leave quite straight and flat. And I'll attach it just at the bottom. And I think I'll put another spot of glue about here. And again, I won't pull the leaf tight between the spots where it's glued so that it lifts off the paper at the center a little bit. And I think I would like that tip rolled because there's no color on this iris. The paper has not curled on its own, so I'm just adding a bit of curl to that leaf by rolling it around the pen. And I'll add another leaf. Perhaps a little closer to the stem on this side. And I may actually curl this one back with almost a gentle fold in it so that it looks like a leaf that's maybe bent over in the wind or got bumped by a person passing. So that one is only glued in one spot.
And we'll add a shorter leaf. I'll glue at the bottom to start with. Where do I want that one? I think I'll do some overlapping here. And again, I think I'll put a spot of glue closer to the top. And I will make sure that the leaf is not pulled tight between glue spots. And again, I'm going to give the tip of that leaf a little curl around the pen. And then we'll add some shorter leaves. I'm just trying to figure out a spot to put them before I start putting glue on them. I think I'll put that one there. Because that leaf is quite short, I think it only needs one spot of glue, but I think I will put a bit of a curl in the tip. And then we've got one more little leaf to add. And I'm not entirely sure where that one should go. I think that might work. I think I'll just sneak that in under there for some more overlapping. And I might, I don't think that's really a good position for that one. Let's try it here. Oh, I think I might just leave it like that. So all those components now are lifting off the paper. So it's not strictly three-dimensional, but it's kind of a relief when it's partly three-dimensional. I can continue to shape these petals even though they're already on the paper to my liking, to get it more three-dimensional or perhaps less three-dimensional, or to change the direction of the roll or the curl in the shaping. And with those few tips, some paper, scissors, markers, and glue, and some research in the garden or online for inspiration, you're ready to try your hand at creating a paper flower.